Okay, you know what? Let me just start over. Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Long Beach County. We on YouTube now, I guess, and as you can see, I'm still not showing you my face because I'm not with the personality brands or cults or whatever. I just really just want to talk to you guys about some important information or just stuff that's on my mind. Maybe you could get a grasp, you know, get a clue on certain things that's happening around you and other things that aren't. Maybe I could help you out. Maybe you could give me some insight. But yeah, I really have to start making these long form things. And I don't know what I'm gonna be talking about, but I guess we could just kind of get into it. There have been some things that are on my mind. Um, yeah, so you know how like you're on Instagram or Twitter, and somebody's talking about trying to convince you to start a LLC and join their freaking masterclass course and all that. We're just gonna breeze past all that right now, and I'm gonna give you most of the information that you need to where you could start somewhere. Okay, so I think the best way for me to do this is to just go through it. It's not to do the pros and cons. It's just to follow what I'm saying, and then you apply it to your own life. Okay. So this is the thing. We're gonna use just say a person that does art in some form or fashion. Okay, and you want to start like making money with your art. A lot of you guys are gonna start an LLC, and then once you start that LLC, the first year you're not really gonna make any money, and then you're gonna get a letter in the mail saying that you owe, you know, either the state or the federal government X amount of dollars in taxes. It's crazy, right? But I want you to ask yourself something. The business that you're trying to start, is there any element of that business that is actually helpful to people? Like, if you're a photographer, you want to start selling your prints, is there anything in your business where you're going, I could teach photography to people, or we could go on, photo shoots, or I could do some free editing, maybe teach a class? Because if there's any element of that within what you're trying to do within a business, I highly suggest that you reconsider starting that LLC and think about starting a nonprofit. Okay, you can't really see it in this room, but there's equipment in here. I mean, you could probably see this, right? This thing that's sitting in front of me. This is a rotary cutter. It costs $500. I didn't pay for that. If you're from Long Beach, you paid for it. That's right. And actually, that's yours because it's through the nonprofit that's actually sponsoring this video. This video, Ocean Org LB. Please go follow them. So, Ocean Org LB came out of there's a longer history, but the actual nonprofit part came out of the riots in Long Beach in 2020. And they were able to raise $22,000. And from there, they went through the process of just starting a nonprofit so they could be held accountable, from the community and stuff. And yeah, that's what they did. They started a nonprofit. When they started the nonprofit, though, they didn't realize like what was going to happen when they did that. And as time went on, they just start acquiring more equipment, but also too like start to understand what a nonprofit actually is. And so right now, uh, you know, I volunteer for Ocean Org. I mean, I'm volunteering my time right now just to promote them, really. But in the organization, they want to do content like this, right? Want to help people, you know, and make tutorials and stuff. The problem is now is that I've become the president of Ocean Org. And so if it was somebody else that was like down to show their face and all that stuff, but that's what happened. The Long Beach County guy turned into the president. And you're like, oh, you're volunteering? Yeah, I volunteer. I don't pay myself out from Ocean Org Group. And we're really not even at the point to where we can, because let's be honest here, we're poor. So, but this the thing though, because of Ocean Org, you know, they literally, it's me and the homies. that are running Ocean Org, and I have so much power, to be honest with you. Watch this. Let's say one of you freaking jabronis goes to jail and you get hit with whatever time, and they tell you, okay, you're going to be on probation for however long, and you need to do X amount of community service hours. It's usually in the hundreds of hours, right? Guess what I get to do? I literally just get to look at you and go, your community service is done. Yeah, because it's kind of arbitrary. If one of my friends had just got out of jail like 2 or 3 years ago for like gangbanging or something like that, and he stayed out of trouble for that 2 or 3 years and just been taking care of his family and stuff like that, Ocean Org considers that community service. So they'll just write it off, and they can because they're an actual 501c3. A lot of you guys do charitable work, but just haven't actually done the filing. And so when you talk to people, they go, wow, that's cool. Are you a 501c3 or just a grassroots? And you go, oh, just a grassroots thing. Do you know what they're really preparing to do if you would have said yes? They're preparing to give you money. I have a friend, his dad's rich, and, they have a family foundation, so that's where all their money goes. It's like a kind of trust type of thing. But the thing is that they have to give out like 10% of that money that's in that trust, right? That's in that bank account every year. So instead of just giving it to the government, and the government's like using 80% of that money to give to people to bomb other people and children elsewhere, they actually just get to pick where they want to send the money to. And I so happen to be one of those people. And I go, yeah, send it to Ocean Org bank account, and that's it. We get $1,000 just from them, and that's a lot. There's a lot of people that are around you, and I think that's the other thing. Because I'm going back to where I was going, right? Don't worry about it. But I think that's the other thing with just with taxes. The whole tax system that you go through is literally, it's a system that the government created so you don't have to worry about it, but they're actually scamming you. I mean, think about this. You probably treat your tax return as a savings or something, but it's called a return. It's not called a tax savings. It's not called a tax dividend, right? Which would be crazy. Imagine you gave the government tax dollars, and they spent 80% of that on giving it to BlackRock to go bomb some kids, and they said, here you go. Here's your dividend for that. Wouldn't that be crazy? It's not a stipend, fool. It's a return. Why is it called a return? Because it's money that you overpaid the government that year, and they're returning the money to you. That's what's going on. If you took care of your own finances and itemized all your stuff, I mean, I'm not a tax professional here, but it's safe to say that you could go tax exempt from your job. So when you start that job, I think it's one of them, the W-2 or the W-4, one of those. And it's that part where it's like, would you like to go tax exempt? You can, every job that I've ever had, I just go tax exempt, and then I just send the money to Ocean Org and stuff. But basically, I'm going everywhere. I'm just saying this, but basically with a nonprofit, right? What Ocean Org has been able to do is like, I've been there the whole time, so I know what's going on. When we first got the money, it was like, okay, we're gonna be held accountable, whatever. But then as we're like doing the paperwork and seeing what a nonprofit is, what's going on, you start realizing like, motherfuckers got a lot of power. Let's say somebody has. Do you know every time that you go to the Goodwill or the Salvation Army, they're supposed to be giving you a donation receipt? Yeah. If you donate anything that's like in good condition, from a cell phone, even clothes or whatever, like when people come to Ocean Org with like clothes or TVs or whatever, I give them back a donation receipt for that, and then they could get the money back from the government through their taxes. I think it's the W-4, but the paper that you do at the end of the year, and at the bottom, I know it's section 4C, other deductions. Basically, all of your donation receipts from that year, you just add them up and you put them right there. And so if you do that, you don't have to actually pay the government. All the government wants you to do is like help the state. That's the point of taxes. So if you could show the government, hey, I have been helping the state, and this is where the money's been going, that's literally all you have to do. That's what when people talk about like the rich people don't pay taxes, they actually do. But they pay it in a different form of donations to different nonprofits and stuff like that. So for some of you, watching this, what you need to do is actually do that. There's a great platform too called Long Beach Gives. If you go on Long Beach Gives, you could probably like, just in theory, you would go tax exempt, and then like that 10% of your check or whatever that's supposed to be going to taxes every time. If you just put that 10% in a couple of nonprofits that you mess with, and then you're automatically going to get the donation receipts from Long Beach Gives, and then like all those receipts that you get, those are like tax deductible, right? And now you're controlling your tax dollars where they're going. You've just reclaimed your tax dollars back. Because let's be honest here, the reason why I'm trying to like get you guys to start your own nonprofit is because right now, as people, we are not getting reparations or restitution, so we can get reclamation, right? Which is basically reclaiming your tax dollars through the 501c3 thing. So some of you should do that, right? If you don't want to start a nonprofit, but you want to help the community and everything else, that's literally what you need to do, is kind of not stop paying taxes, but actually divert your tax dollars to other charities that directly impact you, right? But then for you other people that like want to just make a business, if your business has any part of it that could help people, then you should just make it a 501c3 nonprofit instead of a LLC. Because, I mean, especially if you're broke, right? Like in California, if you start an LLC, and even if you didn't make any money that year, the state's going to try to charge you $800. But if you're a nonprofit, you're tax free. All you have to do is basically file with the California Charitable Trust every year. Just tell them how much money you made, the expenses and stuff, and you keep your tax exemption within the state. If you have a small nonprofit, every year you just have to, if you're making under $50,000 for the nonprofit a year, then like there's an e-postcard, I think it's called the N990, that you send, which is like your tax thing to the IRS. And let me tell you, that postcard only takes 5 minutes to do by yourself. It's literally 3 questions. It's like, are you still operating? Are you still something? And the last one is like, have you made $50,000 or less? And then you put yes, and then that's it. Then that's your tax filing. Like the IRS isn't even going into your tax situation. Do you know what's so funny about a nonprofit too, which is hilarious? You don't have to file taxes with the IRS every year. You just have to do it once every 3 years. If you miss that third year, then they're going to revoke your tax exemption, and you're going to have to fight for that back, which is funny, right? Because when Oceans first started, we're like taking our time with it. So we waited that third year. But the thing is that our physical year ends in August. And so you have 6 months to call the IRS to file after that. And so being inexperienced with nonprofits, we're thinking it's going to be this long, strenuous thing. And so we wait that 3 years and that 6 months at the last minute to file for the first time with the IRS. And do you know what happened? We couldn't file because it just so happened 6 months after August or something, it's January, and every January they do a maintenance on the website, so nobody could really file in January. And so because of that, we missed the deadline and we lost the tax exemption, but we have it back now. I basically know the ins and outs of this nonprofit stuff, but basically for you other guys, right, you want to start a nonprofit and then not get taxed. Also, too, let's put it like this. Let's just do like a comparison thing, okay? Over here would be LLC, and then over here would be nonprofit, okay? So in LLC over here, it's loans, okay? Nonprofit, it's grants. LLC, you have to buy all the software. If you're a nonprofit, you're more than likely going to get the software for free. What kind of software I'm talking about? I'm talking about Canva, Affinity Suite, accounting software. You get Monday for free. You get project management stuff for free. You get Google stuff for free, right? Like advertisement, workspace, and stuff like that. But if you're an LLC, you have to pay for all those things. Other perks are like I said earlier, you could help people with their community service. Also too, when you think about it, right? When this page was a podcast and all that other stuff, it was like I was just a podcast guy, But then when I got with Oceans, it's like, okay, I instantly went from like just being a dude